All right, folks, how we doing? My name's Stephen Mullen. I am a best ball blog writer for Big Dogs Fantasy, and I'm recording another best ball draft for you guys. So in this one, looks like we are pick number 3. So I'll probably be deciding between C-Mac and Kamara there. My Zeke ownership has gotten up where I need it to be, maybe a little bit more. That was interesting. C-Mac went number 1, so if I have to choose between Kamara and Zeke, I might actually take a Kamara share just because I'm very low on it. So McCaffrey went 1. Obviously, we would love to get Barkley here. If it comes down to Zeke or Kamara, that will not be the easiest choice for us. All right, I'm not going to get fancy. We'll just take Zeke. He's like the 1-1 for a ton of people now. He's talking about wanting another contract now. Like, dude, shut the fuck up and not get in trouble for 10 minutes and then cry about your contract. He's got 2 years left on this deal. He's literally in trouble every 15 minutes. He wants a new deal. Like, no. Ain't happening, brother. Maybe next offseason. So we got Zeke with our first pick. And my last draft, I wanted to test out what my team would look like if I went wide receiver. I was picking in the 9 slot, and my team was a disaster. Didn't like it at all. I kept being forced to make certain picks and spots, and didn't have choices really. Had to pass up good value a bunch of times. I just was not a fan of that. So this draft's already been pretty strange. Like Le'Veon Bell at pick 1-5, absolutely not. Juju Smith in 1-8, not a chance in hell. How come people never make these picks when I'm picking on like the 1-9, the 1-10? Does not happen for me. There's never like this miracle Devontae Adams and Travis Kelce at the 1-9, 1-10s. So we have a new article out. It is a best ball specific look at the quarterback position, giving you tiers, rankings, stack options, all that good stuff, as well as marking out which quarterbacks make us lean towards wanting to have 3 quarterbacks. So we know every draft we want to go with 6 running backs, 7 wide receivers. It's a huge win percentage advantage over any other alignment of roster construction. So because of that, we're always going with 6 running backs and 7 wide receivers. So and that means we have to pick, do we want 2 or 3 quarterbacks, and then do we want 2 or 3 tight ends? And I've outlined the quarterbacks that make me want to go 3 quarterbacks, the guys that push me in that direction. Who are we hoping drops to us here? I guess just, Mike Evans. I'd be pretty thrilled to get him with our pick. I feel like Gordon's going to be going very soon. Ooh. This is the furthest I've seen Melvin Gordon drop. We have to obviously seriously consider him as he's had, if he's still there. That would be a point where I would no longer be able to pass him. So I started off with a pretty high Melvin Gordon ownership, so I've been having to fade him entirely since this news came out of the holdout. So that doesn't make me sad to see that. So we're either taking Chubb, Brown, or Evans. We're not going to take one of the tight ends. So we're not going to take Mac. So just taking Brown or Evans here. I slightly prefer Evans. But I still think Antonio Brown is He's the last guy in tier 1 for me, so we'll take AB. How thrilled are we about that? Me. It's kind of whatever. Would have been pretty excited if Evans fell to us, not going to lie. Would have been pretty excited if Chubb had fallen to us, too. So, next round, what are we looking at? Might be going with, like, Hilton, Amari Cooper. Could pull up an Aaron Jones share. He's a guy you got to kind of take early, around 3 if you want a share of him. And I do like him quite a bit, but I'm also not 100% sold on him. Marlon Mack. I mean, Marlon Mack at the 212 always feels the best. You're like, oh, I have my elite running back and then Marlon Mack. Hilton, Kittle, or Cooper. I like all those guys. I really don't want to take Aaron Jones over one of them. If I was a couple picks later, I'd be a little bit more interested. All right, I haven't taken George Kittle in quite a while, so I'm down for that. Kittle or Hilton, that's a pretty tight pick. I do think that basically, like, if Hilton's off the board, then I would be into jumping on Aaron Jones. So I'm not into jumping on Devonta Freeman. So Big Dogs, the site that I blog for, they've got their draft guide out. And the draft guide's got all, like, you know, the rankings and player breakdowns, all that information for you guys. But they also have some other added stuff, like doctors, like real-life doctors, reviewing the injuries the players are coming back from and giving advice on, like, what injuries they think will still affect guys into the season and which ones won't, and all that sort of stuff. Like, for example, O.J. Howard's injury is one that they feel really good about. Wow, Aaron Jones going late into round 3. It's pretty good for whoever gets him. And another injury being Cooper Kupp and all the ACL guys, that a lot of players, the first year back from an ACL injury, don't perform as well. So it's just like a trust issue with the knee, plus the fact that that injury tends to lead you to have hamstring injuries and other injuries because your leg is overcompensating for the knee and putting more pressure on other pieces of your leg. And anyway, so all that sort of information is in their draft guide, so you should go pick that up. Aaron Jones, the 3-9. I bet you that Mac Attack guy is thrilled. Let's look at his team. Damian Williams, Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams. Having to reach on Damian Williams a bit there. I mean, I think that this is fine, but I would have expected the team to look a little better that was going to get that late of an Aaron Jones. Like, imagine if it's just after I just said, like, you just can't take 2 wide receivers right away because your team ends up looking like poop. Like, this spot, it would have ended up looking pretty good if it was like Devontae Adams, Odell, and Aaron Jones. These drafts are, like, crazy. I can't believe, like, how much they swing from one draft to the other. Like, there's not really any good, like, pattern to where guys go. Like, the ADPs really seem to be getting jumped around on lately in these drafts. Like, Kerryon Johnson is laying around for going to go to Mac Attack. Oh my god, if he would have started his draft off with 2 wide receivers, like, and then end up with Kerryon Johnson and Aaron Jones, he would have been living the absolute dream. Still has to make that pick anyway. I don't think he can pick a wide receiver here. Guess he could pick Pat Mahomes. What? You just take Philip Lindsay ahead of Kerryon Johnson and David Montgomery? Not for me. I do own a decent, well, not a decent amount, but I own a bit of Lindsay. Like, there's not even, like, there's some chance that he could have actually got Lindsay with his 5th round pick. A lot of my Lindsay shares are from the 5'10, the 5'9, the 5'11 even. What is happening in this draft? How are Kerryon Johnson and David Montgomery on the board here? Don't understand anything that's happening. So obviously this is Mahomes and Montgomery with the next 2 picks. Then we take Kenny Golladay, I guess. Blah. Vomit. Kenny Galladay's fine here. I just have a lot of him. He doesn't excite me anymore. All right. Oh, I'm going to use this chance to take a Pat Mahomes share then. We're going to have an early quarterback and an early tight end if I do that. This is such good value, though. All right. We're doing it. Once you get late into round 4 and you're starting to pick up guys like Godwin and Golladay, Ingram, that grouping, I do think Mahomes is really reasonable at that point. Especially if it ends up being a shorter Tyreek Hill suspension. So another way you can get out ahead of a short Tyreek Hill suspension without getting actual Tyreek Hill ownership is to get some Mahomes ownership. I think if he had all of his weapons, he would be steady. If we knew they were all going to be there week 1, he'd be picked in round 3. Ingram, Sony Michel, or these running backs. I think I kind of want to get Sony Michel here. I have so much Williams and Ridley. Nice. Michel's a little risky with what's going on with his knee, but he's another guy that if he was 100% healthy, he wouldn't be available in round 5. He'd be solid round 4 pick. So I'm surprised the NFL is dragging their feet so much with this Tyreek Hill suspension. How long does it take to decide how long this dude's going to be suspended? Should be coming to the end of that task, right? So I'll be a little interested to see how much we hate our team at the end of this, since we took a quarterback and a tight end both pretty early. Rounds 3 and 4. At least that means we don't have to waste a ton of draft capital on those positions in the mid rounds. There's starting to be more and more running backs I like in the mid rounds now. But, I like Adrian Peterson a bit more than I used to, and Austin Eckler and guys like that. I like Chase Edmonds more than I used to, because I've read that they're going to start using him a reasonable amount in their offense. He is definitely no longer a full handcuff guy. He's a handcuff plus that you can draft, and you're going to get points from him every week. Are those points going to be consistent? Nope. But you don't really need your points to be consistent when you're playing best ball. You just need him to be getting points. Tevin Coleman, round 5. New. So who are we hoping for? My favorite picks are late round 6, or Tyler Boyd and Rashad Penny. But you don't get those guys too often. I have picked from the 1 slot a couple times and gotten both Boyd and Penny at the turn, the 6-7 turn. Man, that's a good feeling. Carson off the board. take a look and see if we got any funky teams going on. Ours is probably going to be the most funky because we have a quarterback and a tight end already. Everybody else has 2 running backs and 3 wide receivers, or the reverse. A couple guys with tight ends up here. Round 5, Darrell Henderson. I never take Darrell Henderson round 5, and I still have 30% of them. So I've pretty much. There was a point where I was taking him around 6 because it was him or people I hated in round 6, and I was mostly waiting on tier 1 quarterbacks till round 7. So I did pick up some ownership on him in round 6, but nearly all mine is round 7 plus. And right now I'm only taking a few there in round 7. Maybe the extreme situation, like I just said, where I just flat out hate everyone. I think 6-1 is too early for Christian Kirk. Though I do like taking Christian Kirk over Sammy Watkins and Allen Robinson. I do not like either of those players at all. Okay, tier 1 quarterbacks going off the board. Obviously, we love to see that because we have Mahomes. So we have no interest in any of them. Nice. So we only have 4 picks before us, and we have 1, 2, 3 people I absolutely love on the board. That I just want any one of those 3 to make it to us. Let's see if the Jamal picks one of the 3. That is one of the 3. So now we're down to 2 guys on the board we really want. Still 2 guys on the board we really want. I already mentioned who they were, Boyd and Penny. Penny and Boyd. I like Latavius Murray quite a bit too. Both the people behind us only have 2 running backs. Oh, nice. I'm going to take Penny. I think there's no chance that he drops to us. Could do something really weird and take Evan Ingram here in round 7 if he's there. Definitely like Latavius Murray there. Evan Ingram for sure strong enough to start getting into our. Okay. We're not going to take him over Boyd, but round 7 Tyler Boyd is for sure a nice thing to have. So we got Antonio Brown and Tyler Boyd. Team's looking pretty nice so far. We've got Mahomes, we've got Zeke, Sony, and Penny. Antonio Brown, Tyler Boyd, George Kittle. Whoever ends up with Evan Ingram is getting a steal. So if Jay Chase had taken Boyd, we would have either taken Ingram or Pettis. That wouldn't have been a very easy choice, even though we only have 1 wide receiver. Just because when you have the 6 sick values fall to you, remember, even with Kittle at tight end, Ingram can, play your flex spot. Pretty happy to see all these tight ends start going. Don't really want any of them right now. This guy only has 2 running backs up here. Hurst. There's a few people. This guy has only 2 running backs and he has 2 quarterbacks, so it cannot be good. We'll take that team out after. So, at least his 2 running backs are Christian McCaffrey and Marlon Mack. If you're going to have 2 running backs, that's how you do it. I don't remember who he took Allen Robinson over. I think the running backs just got demolished and he had no choice really. Let's look at this 2 quarterback team because that had to be a horrible mistake. Yeah, oof. This guy did start Juju Beckham Fournette and Drake are like pretty scary. Yeah, I mean, I think that Matt Ryan pick was really bad, really, 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 really bad. It's round 7. You generally want to be getting tier 1 QBs in round 7, not tier 2 QBs. It's kind of poor value. And then when you already have Aaron Rodgers and your team's really suffering at running back, and like at least you need to be building your wide receivers up, right, to make up, because you want to have an incredible wide receiver group if you're hurting at running back. And like as good as Juju and Odell are, they're still going to need more wide receivers if you're trying to make up for a poor running back group. A lot of teams with no tight ends. This guy only has wide receivers and running back. Let's take a look at his team. Those teams tend to look pretty good. This team does not look as good as I was expecting it to look. Do love these top 2. Like Keenan Allen. Like Robert Woods, but I don't love either of those picks. I like them both. Fine enough. Robbie Anderson pick was decent value. We were going to be interested in him. Wow. We again could have some interest in picking a tight end. I mean, as our second tight end. We don't have to by any means, but it's starting to get to be insane value on Vance and Njoku late round 8. Definitely also interested in an Austin Eckler share here over Ronald Jones. So might go with that. I doubt both players behind this will want 2 tight ends. So they might feel the same way I do, though. Just like this value is getting to be too much. I'm going to take Austin Eckler here. So I would like to get either Green Bay wide receiver or either of these top 2 tight ends round 9. Wide receiver is the easiest position to pick up later, so if we get pinched at that spot, that's all right. I'm not really outwardly like looking to have 2 tight ends here, but I just feel like this is getting to be like the value in these guys in round 9 is just too good, man. Especially Vance McDonald. I like Vance McDonald a good bit more than I like Njoku. So it's kind of, if McDonald's there, we're definitely picking him. If McDonald goes, we might not pick Njoku. Might go for Geronimo Allison then, or Larry Fitzgerald. Oh, let's go timing out. All right, we're going to take Vance McDonald. Even though we only have 2 wide receivers, I think that we can get really good value on wide receiver later. And even though this is our second tight end, round 9 is just too late for Vance McDonald to be out there. I definitely think like he's a guy who's good enough to be getting into your flex. So I don't think that he's just like flat blocked if you have a tier 1 tight end. So we have 4 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, 1 QB. That 1 QB is Mr. Pat Mahomes. So yeah, I think that's a good thing to think about. Is if you think the Tyreek Hill situation is going to go the way of a shorter suspension, Mahomes late round 4 is like very, very good value. He absolutely destroyed that position last year. He was the most prevalent player in the best ball championships on teams that made it to the actual final 60. He beat all other quarterbacks by like 100 points in this scoring. Will that happen this year? Probably not. Like, he's going to have some semblance of regression, but you never know. I mean, this is his second full season. If the Tyreek Hill suspension were to somehow end up being 0 games, then he might even be better than he was last year. I think that that's near impossible, but I hate that they're dragging their feet on this decision. Like, just tell us. Just want to know. Want to know how long he's out for. So we're really just interested in wide receivers. Any value that comes our way at running back is still kind of interesting, even though we have 4. We're in a really good spot. Like, I actually recorded my last draft, but I had to delete it. Like, this loom pooped out at the very end of my thing, and I didn't get to finish my wrap up. And the draft was such a mess anyway. I was just like, whatever, and deleted the stupid video. Like, midway through me talking through my team at the end of the draft, it just crapped out. So, still 1, 2, 3 at minimum wide receivers I have a ton of interest in. Yeah, it's probably all I would say that I'm like, would be super ecstatic if one of them fell to me. Nobody needs a tight end on the board. We have one guy out there that doesn't have one. Oh, we have 2. This guy has 2 quarterbacks. Who's his second quarterback? He's got Newton and Kyler. I like that. Plus, he's got Kyler with Kirk. I like that as well. James Conner. I cannot even tell you when the last time I drafted James Conner was. Should probably do that again sometime soon. When you just get used to fading somebody, we are going to get one of the 3 wide receivers I was interested in, so that's good. Because they're all still on the board. There's the top 3 that are not in Kill Harry. Not that I have anything against Harry, but I think he's fine. Fine, but not super exciting. So we're either taking Allison or Tate. Excellent value. I think the last time we picked, we were considering either taking Vance or one of the Green Bay wide receivers if they fell to us. And then we waited for a whole huge run of players to go off the board and still got one, so that was awesome. Moncrief is probably the guy I'm the most interested in on the board at the moment. Peyton Barber is a little interesting to me. Adrian Peterson in round 11 is interesting to me. Trey Burton still being on the board. I just don't think we need a 3rd tight end. Yeah, we're not going to go with another tight end. Could consider taking our second quarterback if there's anything left that we really want. So I really only like picking up Lamar Jackson if we go 3 quarterbacks. He's just not a guy I'm comfortable with having. Might take Mitch Trubisky here if he doesn't go. Also might just take Moncrief and say the hell with it. Moncrief or Trubisky. All right, I'm going to take Moncrief. Really like getting Allison and Moncrief with those last 2 picks. It's pretty nice. So when it comes back to us, we'll probably be looking to grab up a running back and a quarterback. So I don't think that this mid-round wide receivers area is all that interesting to us. So I will be going dark for like 4 days after this. It's the old 4 12-hour shifts in a row with everybody else on vacation except for you. So that'll be the end of me for 4 days. I'll be going to work, coming home, going to sleep, and going to work, coming home, going to sleep. But next Monday's article will be the ownership percentage article. So if you are huge into these best ball things and you're planning to have 50 or more teams, you want to check that out. If you casually just are going to have 10 best ball teams and happen to be somebody that follows me anyway, then you do not need to read that article because it will be completely useless to you. So we have Antonio Brown. Could have some interest in having Derek Carr be our second quarterback. I feel like that happens a lot. That Derek Carr is my second quarterback. Still pretty interested in like Ito, Justice Hill, Adrian Peterson. Trey Burton probably should be off the board by now. There goes Justice Hill. I can never be sad when Justice Hill or Goddard go off the board because that means I don't have to have infinity ownership on them because those are guys I just keep taking over and over again. Chris Herndon. He is currently off my drafting board since he won't play till week 6. Then he's going to have to like step in, and we're not going to even know what his role is. That offense is going to be a pile of crap, I think. Maybe it'll be better than I think, but there goes AP. Good pick by Mac Attack. So most of the running backs we had any interest. That was like my fallback running back for this next pick. So if Ito Smith goes, then I think we're probably not going to be taking a running back. Trubisky's pretty high up there on my interest, as having him as my second quarterback. Still could go with Derek Carr to pair with Antonio Brown, maybe pick up Waller. Trubisky went. That's going to make me more inclined to do that. Garoppolo. Breida still out there. Madison's still out there. Really don't want Lamar Jackson, so I just want to take 2 quarterbacks with Pat Mahomes. I could take 3 because I have Kittle and Vance. I don't know though. Those guys both have had a decent amount of injuries in their careers. All right, let's take Ito. Pretty excited to get him actually. One guy I'm trying to pull up ownership on, so I'm not going to take another running back right away, is Chase Edmonds. Really, really starting to like Chase Edmonds. Everything I'm reading is saying that he's going to get a decent amount of run even with a healthy David Johnson. So that means he could be used an absolute ton. If David Johnson were to go down, he would be an awesome player. But even with David Johnson healthy, I think he's going to be decent. It's like getting to the point where like we kind of have to take Lamar Jackson if he's there. To take Anthony Miller and try to get Derek Carr on the way back. Could take Lamar Jackson and try to get Marquise Brown later. All right, I'm not going to this is just getting to be too good of a value, so I'm just going to take Lamar Jackson. We good with that? So I don't think I'm going to take Chase Edmonds before around 14, 15. 15 is probably the earliest I would consider him. So we still have the option of choosing if we want 3 quarterbacks or 3 tight ends. Grabbing Lamar Jackson affects it a little bit. I feel like he's about equal with Vance McDonald as far as like injury risk goes, and then I feel like Kittle is more risky than Pat Mahomes, so probably go with 3 tight ends. But it might also be a situation where, so this decision's pretty close, right? I feel like we'd rather have 3 tight ends, but if it gets back to us and there's just like a quarterback that should not be on the board, then we take that over the tight end, right? I don't want to take a crap tight end over a good quarterback just to make the 3 and 3 happen. Breida's still on the board. I like me some Breida. We do only have 4 wide receivers. Let's take a look at our team real quick. We have Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. It's definitely an A. Got Zeke, Sony Michel, Penny, and Austin Eckler. I feel very comfortable with that group. Antonio Brown, Tyler Boyd, Allison, and Moncrief. I like it. I don't love it. It's not an A, but it's pretty good. So at least a B, maybe a B plus. Like we could add some things to it to make it a B plus for sure. Kittle, Vance McDonald, plus any other human is going to be an A at the tight end position. So I think this draft has went really well. Like there's certain points like this Lamar Jackson pick where it's just getting the value is just getting too good, and even though you feel a little risky about having him as one of your only 2 quarterbacks, which we don't even know 100% is the case yet, but Derek Carr going off the board, I think it's even less likely that we'll take another QB. Kind of would like to get like Breida or Chase Edmonds and one of these wide receivers, like Parker, Brown, Stills. It's not Fant. Yeah, we could always end up, with like a Mariota if we don't like any of the tight ends on the board, because I don't think we're going to pick a tight end in this next go through. But there's some late tight ends I like Waller. Do kind of want to get Marquise Brown now that we have Lamar Jackson, since we don't have anyone that goes with Pat Mahomes. Chris Conley in round 14, that is psychosis. That person probably should be thrown in a straitjacket and dragged away. Even if you love Conley, even if you are the Conley guy, even if you've seen the future and you know Chris Conley is going to be a beast, that pick is still terrible because you still could have waited 3 rounds and got him. Even if you saw the future and you saw that Chris Conley ended up being insane, still not a good pick. So when it gets to us, we're looking at Breida, Chase Edmonds, John Brown, Kenny Stills right now. Would like to get one of those 4 players. I could see taking Marquise Brown over those guys, over those wide receivers. Like he's in that tier for me. It's just the health concerns. Will he last to us back? Probably not. So I'm inclined then to take Chase Edmonds and Breida one. That sucks. So running back is kind of off the table. So now we could consider taking 2. I don't want Justin Jackson while I also have Eckler. I definitely feel like I could wait around on running back or even longer now. That stunk. Do we want Greg Olsen at all? Me. Rather have like Eifert or Waller than Greg Olsen. Oh, plus Greg Olsen shares a bye week with one of our tight ends, so that's not even a thing. John Brown or Kenny Stills? Kenny Stills or John Brown? close. I'll take Kenny Stills. So the only quarterback that stands out is probably shouldn't be on the board is Matt Stafford, but I'm going to pass on that, provided Marquise Brown doesn't go before our pick. Ooh. Chase demolished us with the Marquise Brown pick. Huh. Huh. Just really don't want a third tight end. Guess I should have taken Marquise Brown over Kenny Stills. I just didn't think there was any chance that he would go there. Malcolm Brown was one of the guys I was thinking about for next round. Well, we don't want Greg Olsen. We don't want Emmanuel Sanders, really. Guess I'll just go make sure I get Darren Waller since I don't know that I'll get him. It's a round early on him, but I didn't want Greg Olsen because he shares a bye week with Vance McDonald, so I just kind of went to the next tight end on my list, and the next tight end on my list was Eifert or Waller. I guess taking Eifert would have been fine, too. The reason why I quickly ended up taking Waller is I just glanced over at, Kittle, Vance McDonald, and thought Eifert, and I was like, wow, that sounds like three guys that would probably be out the same week. Three guys that get hurt. I think that Stafford is the best value on the board. Well, now that we've done what we've done, we are only picking running back or wide receiver. To look at my running back group, I think that we want a pure upside guy. So I think that we'd rather have a Reichwell Armstead than a Chris Thompson or a Jalen Richard. Is that the case? Yeah, especially the Ito and Eckler. We don't really need a third of that type of guy. With that's what I mean by Richard or Thompson. It could be kind of a third guy that's already in their mold. We don't really need that. I'd rather have Armstead if he's available when we pick, which he isn't because he just got taken. So I think I'll punt running back to the last round and go for a Quadre Allison or Benny Snell, so that I get that more upsidey type guy. Let's probably go wide receiver my next two picks, and then grab one of those two running backs in the very last round. I actually have a little bit less Benny Snell than I do Quadre Allison, so kind of hope that he makes it to us in the last round. There's no guarantee that either one does, so could still have to adjust our plans again. Could also take Miles Boykin in the last round to go with Lamar Jackson, but I don't really love that either. So, looking at the board now, I like Albert Wilson and not a whole lot else on this board. I like Debo a decent amount. Getting Stafford at the 16-5 for Joe Football Absolute steal. Stolen. Ended up with like no stacks, stack pieces with their quarterbacks. It's kind of rough. But I mean, what can you do? Just really don't really need another Chris Thompson like guy, but I might be forced to take him because that might be the only value on the board. This dude's timing out. Takes Eifert. All right, take Albert Wilson. So between Wilson and Stills, it would be hard for both of those guys to be terrible. One will probably have to be good. Sort of rather wait to the last round for a running back, so Debo would be all right. Hump Daddy would be all right. Trey Quinn would be all right. If Chris Thompson, thank God. Well, if Chris Thompson didn't go, I think we're just going to be forced to take him just about because of value, but because I think he's significantly better than like Jalen Richard as far as that type of player goes. Here we're going to take Debo or somebody below. I guess we'll just take Debo. That's fine. And we're going to look to take either Allison or Benny Snell in the last round. Both of them go. We'll come up with some other plan for that. Still Jalen Richard, Darwin Thompson, Tony Pollard, all that I would draft. I have zero shares of Gus Edwards, and I don't think that that's necessarily the smartest thing in the world. Because I'm basically like, have Mark Ingram on my fade list, and I have all the Justice Hill. So I probably need to get a few Gus Edwards in there, just because I have so much Justice Hill that I don't know. Maybe I have so much I shouldn't even be planning for what happens if he just ends up being terrible. It's just going to be so bad for me anyway. But a lot of those Justice Hill shares are like pretty late, so I had some round 17 Justice Hill from right after the NFL draft. I've been hammering him from immediately after the draft. So basically, Justice Hill, Darrell Henderson, and David Montgomery were my three guys right after the draft. Where I was like, all right, I feel like they're incredible, and the value is awesome on them right off the bat. Bruce Anderson's like another character who could be worth getting a couple shares of, like your 1 or 2%. Like, what if Rojo is absolute garbage and Peyton Barber just plays about the same as he did last year? You'd have to think if both those things happen, then Bruce Anderson's gonna get a shot, right? So I would actually put him as my third guy to take if Snell and Quadri Allison both go before my pick in this 18th round. No, I'm coming down with a cold. Ugh. It's gonna be a long work week. So let's look at the team, see if anyone has a bad roster construction. I think that enough people have started listening to my stuff and whatnot. It seems like a lot of them end up being the right roster construction. This guy got 4 tight ends. That's not right. This guy's got 7 and 7. That's bad. Plus, he only has 1 tight end right now. Like, I really don't like taking my second of 2 tight ends or my second of 2 quarterbacks in the last round or two. Just getting stuck too hard. I went to Snell. So, still kind of on Anderson or Allison. I think I'd put Allison first. I think he's a better player, and I think that, Devonta Freeman. He gets hurt a lot. Still Jalen Richard on the board, too. It's obviously a consideration if he's still there when we pick him in the last round. Darwin Thompson's, too. I think Darwin Thompson's going to be in that Char West role in the Kansas City offense. Problem is I think if Damian Williams is hurt or something, the Hyde will kind of move into the first, second down role, and then Thompson will maybe stay in a slightly expanded Char West role. So I'm not sure that the ceiling is that high, but Carlos Hyde's also old and sucks at this point. Was traded from one team and cut from another last year. And when a guy like Carlos Hyde gets cut, that's really telling because he's not a shitty locker room guy, right? He's like a pretty good dude. He's like never made a big fuss of or anything. He hasn't been involved in a bunch of crazy stuff. So when guys like that get cut, that usually means the team just thinks that their talent is gone, that they're done. It's Darwin Thompson or Kadri Allison. I'm going to take Allison first. If he goes, we'll take Thompson. Then we'll grade this team out and be done with this video, and hopefully it won't die in the middle of me grading the team out and doing my team review. Right, pick up Allison. And we're done. Take a look real quick at who this guy ended up with as his other tight end. Matt Lacoste is the second tight end. Yeah, this is the guy that took Phillip Rivers kind of early. That was his first quarterback. No stack options that go with him. He's got Kalen Ballage on his team. Actually, I own a ton of Kalen Ballage, but it's from back when he was around 15. This guy took 4 tight ends, only 5 running backs. Tyler Eifert, Jimmy Graham, Evan Ingram, Greg Olsen. It's the average age of this guy's team, like 53. He's got Tom Brady, too. Really is 53. And Drew Brees. Evans and Godwin, but missed out on Winston. Not that I'm one to talk about the stacking, because we got like none of that on our team. Mainly because I took Kenny Stills over Marquise Brown, but I think that that's just the right pick. Kenny Stills' value is just way too much higher. Obviously, Marquise Brown's like just 100% ready to roll. Yeah, I guess I kind of regret that pick, but it's fine. So quarterback, we ended up with Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Definitely an A at quarterback. We got Zeke, Sony, Penny, Eckler, Ida Smith, and Kadri Allison. Give it like an A- at the running back. Got Antonio Brown, Tyler Boyd, Geronimo Allison, Dante Moncrief, Kenny Stills, Albert Wilson, Debo at the wide receivers. Probably a B. Could be a B+ if Antonio Brown is old Antonio Brown, or if one of these two guys hits their ceiling. So it's a B with a little bit of a chance to be a little better than that. Obviously, Tyler Boyd, though, could be worse than he was. So. And then our tight ends are an A for sure. Got Kittle, McDonald, Darren Waller. I mean, just Kittle McDonald's is an A on its own. Then you also have at least a decent upside guy down there as well. So all in all, I think this is a very strong draft. Give it all A's and B's. So good luck in your drafts, folks. Have a good one.